Okay, good afternoon, class. I am Dean Jenilyn Abamo, your virtual class instructor for the day in the subject System Analysis and Design. So our learning objectives, number 1, define information system analysis and design. 2, describe the different types of information system. 3, describe the information system development life cycle. 4, explain rapid application development, prototyping, joint application development, and computer-aided software engineering. Describe agile methodologies and extreme programming. Explain object-oriented analysis and design and the rational unified process. Okay, so those are our learning objectives. Okay, introduction. Okay, information system analysis and design. It's a complex organizational process whereby computer-based information systems are developed and maintained. Okay, so we also have the application software, computer software designed to support organizational functions or processes. So before we proceed with the different definitions, I think most of the students who were my students before I think computer, we have the introduction to information system. Is that correct? So if you remember, based on that subject before, there are different types of information system. Okay? There are different types of information system. We have the TPS, we have the DSS. Okay? Do you remember that? And then of course, we have the application software. There are two types of software, if you remember also, under the IS subject. We have the application software and the system software. Okay, application software is the computer software designed to support organizational functions or processes. So again, as I mentioned before, there are different types of IS. Okay, we have the TPS, the DSS, the ESS, which will be discussed later on. And then we also have the application software, which is defined as the computer software designed to support the organizational functions or processes. Okay, so aside from that, we have the system analyst. Of course, the organizational role of a system analyst is the most responsible since it is the most important in what? Analyzing and designing information systems. Okay, so that is the main role of a system analyst. Okay, continuation. So as shown in the screen in the figure 1-1, it is an organizational approach to system analysis and design which is driven by methodologies, techniques, and tools. Okay? Okay, so we have to discuss one by one the methodologies, the techniques, and the tools in developing, of course, an information system. Okay? So let me give you a brief history about the development or the modern approaches in system analysis and design. In the year 1950, it is focused on efficient automation of existing processes. Okay? And then 1960, this is the year of the 3GL. So when you say 3GL, it means what? Third generation languages. Okay? When you say third generation language, what are the examples of a 3GL? What are the examples of a 3GL? We have what? We have the Java. Okay, that's a third generation language. When you say third generation language, it means what? High programming language. Okay, we have the Java, we have the C, we have the C++. Okay, those are third generation language. which is faster and more reliable computers, or for the computers, of course. And then in the 1970s, system development becomes more like an engineering discipline. 1980s, major breakthrough with 4GL, case tools, object-oriented methods. Okay, when you say 4GL, what is a 4GL? Fourth generation language. What are the examples of a fourth generation language? So when you say 4GL or fourth generation language, it is more human-like language. Okay? So it's like the examples are what? We have the SQL or the structured query language. Why? If you're going to check the syntax of an SQL, it's more what? An English language. Like select all or asterisk from what table, okay? What else? What are the examples of our fourth generation language? Yes, we have the Perl, we have the PHP, we have the Python, the Ruby. No, Python is not included in the 4GL. Actually, it's on the 5GL. So we have the PHP, yes, we have the Ruby, we have the SQL. Okay? So case tools, what are the examples of the case tools, class? So again, for 1980s, we have the major breakthroughs like the 4GL, then the case tools. What are the example of case tools? We have what? What's the meaning of case? Computer-aided software engineering. So the example of those are, we have, yes, Visio. Okay, the Microsoft Visio. We have the Adobe Photoshop. We have the Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so those are the example of the case. Okay, moving on, we have the 1990s, focus on system integration, GUI application, client-server platforms, internet. Okay, the new century, web application development, wireless PDAs or yung handheld computers, and component-based applications. So of course, these are the modern times. Okay, moving forward. So as I mentioned before, there are different types of IS. We should be familiar of this one. I think it was discussed also in the Introduction to Information Systems subject, right, Geyser? So if you remember, we have the first one, the transaction processing system. As mentioned here, it automates handling of data about business activities. And of course, it process orientation. Can you give me an example of a TPS? Can you give me an example of a TPS, class? Transaction processing system. Can you remember? I think I am the instructor here. Geyser. Sibayan. Yes. Okay. Yes, thank you, thank you. You remember, yes. So, okay, we an example of a TPS is a payroll system. Why? Because it handles what? It handles data, it processes payroll, it processes the attendance, okay? POS, or the point of sale system. Can you consider that as a TPS? Even the employee records, yes. Okay, that's as long as we have the transaction processing, it is a TPS. Okay, but what about hotel reservation system? Airline reservation system. Can you consider that as a TPS? Okay, very good, class. Okay, moving on to the next type of information system. We have the management information system. As mentioned here, okay, as mentioned here, converts raw data from transaction processing system into meaningful form. And of course, data orientation. Can you give me an example of an MIS? Carl, Paha, can you give me an example of an MIS? Okay, why sales and marketing? Okay, like for example, okay, I have a system for, let's say, what do you call this one? For example, the POS in SM, okay, SM malls. Let's say we have the department store to be specific, okay? We have a separate POS in each cashier, meaning to say each transaction or each sales or each payment of the customer is processed through the POS, right? And then after that, after the process of, after the payment in the POS or in the cashier, what happens to the data? Do you think that the data or the payment or the sales in the POS stays in the POS itself, the machine itself? No. Why? It's because there's another system that handles those POS, right? Meaning to say, POS is just the medium or the machine that handles the sales or the payment of each customers. And after those sales, from each POS, let's say we have 10 POS, those 10 machines will pass the data into a certain system. Okay, the system might be handled by the server. Okay, and then what? What will happen? What's the next step? If they gather the info or the data from 10 POS, what will happen? The system from the server will check, or how much sales or how much earning did they get today, or how much this brand got sales. Okay, so that's an MIS, meaning to say from one data from the data you're going to convert into a meaningful information. Okay, that's MIS. So for example, like the student's record, okay, in the student's record, you have the data, the USN, okay, you have the full name, you have the birth date, you have the course. Okay, that's an individual data. But if it is encoded in the system, then it will be transformed into what? A personal information. Okay? What about inventories? Okay, let's tackle about inventory. Where does it fall? What kind of IS is inventory? Any idea, Carl? Dominic, any idea? Can we consider inventory as an MIS? Why? Kindly just justify your answer. Okay. What is an inventory system? Of course, you have the record of the products, the quantity. Okay. How can you consider that as an MIS? Okay. Very good, Dominic. Okay. So moving to the next type of IS, we have the decision support system. Okay. So in the decision support system, designed to help decision makers, okay, provides interactive environment for decision making, involves data warehouse, executive information system, okay, database, model-based, user dialogue. Okay, based on the definition given here on the screen, can you give me an example of a DSS? Okay, class, can you give me an example of a DSS, please? Give me a wild guess, and then I'm going to say if it's correct or not. Decision support system. If you're going to check this one, if you're going to recall our discussion in the intro to information system, do you remember that DSS and EIS are different IS? Do you remember those the subject those topic? Very good, Carl. A marketing and sales could be considered a DSS. Why? Like for example, that's exactly my example last second trimester on my students. So decision support system. The decision support system helps the higher or the operations or the managers to consider it. For example, do I have to buy this product or do I have to maintain a high quantity of this product? What will be my basis? Okay, what will be my basis? I'm going to check based from this POS or both based from these cashiers. This is the top selling item. Okay, since this is the top selling item, I'm going to restock it again. I'm going to restock more quantities for this one. Why? Because it's the top selling product, right? So again, John Romer, inventory is under MIS. What else? What are the other example of a DSS? Do you remember about the system of pillbox? What's pillbox? Okay, it checks the okay. Earthquake activities, okay. Okay. So meaning to say they have the system, they have the machine to monitor, of course, the what? Activities. So based on those machines and reports that gathered from that system, what they will do if they have seen some movements, and then what? They will decide on what? It can tell when a volcano could erupt. Okay. So can you consider that as a DSS? Okay, tell the LGUs on how to plan the mitigation measures. Yes. Okay, what about the Pag-asa? What about the Pag-asa? Okay. So what does it do? Okay, weather forecast. Okay, to monitor the weather. Okay, very good. Can you consider that as a DSS? They tell the weather forecast, and then if there is a thunderstorm or there is what? There is a heavy rainfall. What will happen? What they will do? Raise warning, tell again the LGU, and decide to what? If they have to cancel the what? the classes, the work. Okay, can you consider that as a DSS? Okay, LGUs will decide what action they could take. Okay, very good part. Okay, so that is a DSS. Let's move to the next slide. Thank you, class. Okay. So types, this is the continuation. So the TPS, so IS type or the transaction processing system. So IS characteristics, high volume, data capture focus, goal is efficiency of data movement and processing and interfacing different TPS. System development methods, process orientation for concern with capturing, validating, and storing data and with moving data between each required step. Okay? So while the MIS or the Management Information System, IS characteristics, draws on diverse yet predictable data, resources to aggregate and summarize data may involve forecasting future data from historical trends and business knowledge. Okay? So system development methods, data orientation, concerned with understanding relationships among data so data can be accessed and summarized in a variety of ways. Builds a model of data that supports a variety of uses. So again, we also have the decision support system, provides guidance in identifying problems, finding and evaluating alternative solutions, selecting or comparing alternatives, potentially involves group of decision makers, often involves semi-structured problems, and the need to access data at different levels of detail. Okay? So system development methods, data and decision logic orientation, designs of user dialogue, group communication may also be a key, and access to unpredictable data may be necessary. Nature of system requires iterative development and almost constant updating. Okay, so this is the continuation for the types of IS. So developing information system and SDLC. So by the way, guys, of course, system analysis and design is the fundamentals or the basic foundation for you to start creating your own research, okay? But before you create your own research, you must know what type of information system are you going to create. You should know how to categorize, okay? So if it's a TPS, if this is an MIS, if this is a DSS, or this is an EIS, okay? So system development methodology is the standard process followed in an organization. So we have different types of methodology, which will be discussed later on. So it consists of this analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. These are the basics of a methodology. Okay? So system development life cycle. If you are familiar with the waterfall, if you are familiar with the prototyping, agile methodology, the V model, okay? Those models were developed or created based on SDLC or the System Development Lifecycle. So the basic phases of the SDLC are the planning, analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. Okay? Okay, System Development Life Cycle or the standard and evolutionary views of SDLC. So as shown in the screen, we have the planning, analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. Okay? So it always starts with the planning. followed by analysis, followed by design, followed by implementation, followed by maintenance. In figure 1-4, which shows the evolutionary model SDLC, okay, we have the same steps, okay, but the difference is what? What's the difference? More on risk analysis, okay? That's only the difference of this. Okay, let's discuss part by part the SDLC, okay? So the first one is the planning. In planning, you have to identify, analyze, prioritize, and arrange information system needs. Meaning to say what? If you're going to develop a system, you should identify what is the current problem and what do you have to solve. Mostly if you're going to create a system, you have, there is a problem that you want to give a solution, okay? And then you're going to analyze what is the best way to solve or give an alternative solution for that current problem. Like for example, they have a manual payroll. Like for example, they have a 1,000 employee and then they are using a manual payroll. Of course, based on my analysis, to automate or to have a faster payroll system and more accurate payroll system, I'm going to automate the manual payroll system. Do I have to prioritize that? What are the what should I prioritize? My resources. What resources? The time, the budget, of course, the people. Okay, and then discuss what are the needs of the company. Okay, for example, if it's a payroll, then based on the needs of the company. Next phase, the analysis. Okay, the analysis phase. Study and structure system requirements. Okay, so meaning to say, of course, you're done with the planning. Next is you're going to identify what are the requirements of the system. Like for example, do I have to generate reports for the every 15th and 30th? Do I have to generate a report for the statutory benefits? Do I have to generate a payslip for every single employee? Okay, so those are the example of study and structure system requirements. Okay, next, design. When we are going to discuss about design, we're not discussing only about the GUI or the graphical user interface, but we're discussing the logical and the physical design of the system. Okay? So meaning to say, of course, convert recommended solutions to system specifications. When we're going to discuss about the logical design, we're going to discuss the functional features described independently of computer platform. Okay? And then for the physical design, we're going to discuss the logical specifications transformed to technology-specific details. What does it mean? Meaning to say, like for example, what are the main, I have to create a payroll. I'm just going to continue my example, okay? Like for example, I'm going to create the payroll system. So what will be the feature or what will be the contents of a payroll system? Do I need to create an information system for the employees? Aside from that, do I have to keep a 201 file inside the personal information system like the SSS number, the TIN number, the PhilHealth number, and then aside from that, how can I get the attendance of the employees? Of course, that is the start of the payroll. Without the daily attendance, how can I generate the payroll? Do I have to use a device? Am I going to incorporate a biometrics, okay, or a face ID that can incorporate on my system? So those are the things that you have to check if you're going, or if you want to do the design phase. Okay. Moving on, implementation. So implementation phase involves code, test, install, support the information system. Okay. The design phase creates the modules. Okay. It's the, you're going to put the button, you're going to put the forms, okay? But of course, the coding goes into implementation. You're going to write the algorithms here, functionalities. Of course, if you're doing the program, if you're coding a program, you have to test it as well, right? And then you're going to install it and support the information system. Meaning to say, you're going to install it to the client, for checking purposes. And after the installation, of course, you have to what? Maintenance. That's the next phase. Okay? You're just going to support the installed information system. So maintenance, systematically repair and improve the information system. So plus, if ever we created an information system, then we deployed the information system to the client. It doesn't mean that it is 100% perfect. Okay, there's no 100% perfect program. So as time goes by, when the client uses the system or the information system, that's the time that they're going to analyze what's lacking or what's wrong. So there's always room for improvement. That's why we have the maintenance phase. Okay? So if there is something that we have to improve or maintain, we're going to start again with the planning phase. So it's just a cycle. Any question, class? Okay, so the products of SDLC phases, we have the planning, we have the analysis, we have the design, we have the implementation, and the maintenance. It's the same what's discussed earlier. Moving on to the next slide. So the heart of the system development process. The heart of the system development process is the analysis and design. Okay? So under the analysis and design, we have the code, we have the test. So current practice combines the analysis, design, and implementation into a single iterative and parallel process of activities. Okay? So now, so again, if you're conducting your research or if you're doing your research, you have to select your method. This is the first one. We have the traditional waterfall. Sometimes this is called as what? The CLC. What is CLC? Classic life cycle, or the traditional waterfall model. Okay? So, as you can see here, it's the same actually with the previous SDLC phase. We have just a different name or synonym of the phases, but this is more detailed. So we have the planning, we have the analysis, we have the logical design, we have the physical design, implementation, and maintenance. If you remember, under the SDLC, we only have the design phase. But under the design phase, we also have to discuss the logical and physical design. In the traditional waterfall SDLC, you're just going to, first, you're just going to discuss the logical design before moving on to the physical design. Okay? So one phase begins when another completes little backtracking and looping. As from the word waterfall, if you are familiar with the waterfalls, okay? Are you familiar with the waterfalls? Class? if you are in a waterfall, okay, if you fall in the waterfall, can you go back? Can you stop? No. Why? Because of the current of the water, right? So meaning to say, you just go down. You cannot stop. You cannot go back unless you go up again in the mountain, right? So meaning to say, in the traditional waterfall SDLC, you have to carefully think, you have to carefully finish the phase, the planning phase before moving on to the analysis phase. So it takes time, okay, because the analysis of risk takes time. You have to check thoroughly if this is complete, if this phase is complete before moving on to the next phase. So that's traditional waterfall SDLC. Okay, let's move to the next one. So by the way, normally if you're going to, if your system is like for the bank, okay, traditional waterfall is applicable, right? Why? If you're going to create a system for the bank, you have to be very careful, right? Okay, so there are problems with the waterfall approach. Of course, there are advantages and then disadvantages of each methodologies. So let's discuss this one. So first, system requirements locked in after being determined can't change. Okay, so meaning to say, in your planning phase, whatever you discuss there, whatever you give in the planning phase, it's already locked in. You cannot modify. Next, limited user involvement only in requirements phase. Next, too much focus on milestone deadlines of SDLC phases to the detriment of sound development practices. Okay? So these are the problems with the waterfall approach. So there are different alternatives to traditional waterfall SDLC. Since it might take time, it's not applicable for your project, you might need some method that can support the time frame that you have for your research. So we have what? We have prototyping, we have case tools, we have the JAD, we have the RAD, we have the agile methodologies, and we have the extreme programming. Okay? So one by one, we're going to discuss this. So even in system analysis and design, even in software engineering, you have to select your method depending on your project. Okay? If I'm like, for example, I'm going to develop a system with hardware, or I'm going to develop for Desk Pro, I'm going to develop a prototype. What will I use? I can use prototyping. I can use the rapid application development. Okay? Okay, so prototyping. Let's discuss the prototyping. So these are the phases of a prototyping model. So first, you have to identify the problem. Next, okay, enable for you to develop the prototype, of course, you should have the initial requirements. So to develop the prototype, you're going to create a working prototype. And then implement and use the prototype. If it's inefficient, convert to operational system. Okay, so problems, you can revise and enhance the prototype, and then you're going to create the next version. Okay, and then until you finish the prototype. So this is an iterative development process. Requirements quickly converted to a working system. System is continually revised, close collaboration between users and analysts. Okay? Okay, next. So by the way, before we proceed with this with the case tools, there are different types of prototyping. We have the throw away, we have the working, we have the rapid also. Okay, case tools. Case, it means computer-aided software engineering. Software tools providing automated support for system development. Okay, project dictionary workbook, system description and specifications, diagramming tools. Uh, are you familiar with the flow charting softwares? You're going to create the flow chart through a software, even other diagrams. So that is also a case tool. So joint application design, or the JAD, structured process involving users, analysts, and managers. Several day intensive work group session purpose to specify or review system requirements. Okay? Next, we have the RAD, or the Rapid Application Development. For the rapid application development, methodology to decrease design and implementation time involves prototyping, JAD case tools, and code generator. So meaning to say, the RAD is a mixture of JAD, prototyping, JAD, and case. Okay? So we can mix up the different methods. We do that, or they do that, because to support the weaknesses of each methodology. Okay, so for the RAD life cycle, we have the requirements planning, user design, construction, and cut over. So this is the rapid application development. Agile. So agile methodologies, motivated by recognition of software development as fluid, unpredictable, and dynamic. So three key principles: adaptive rather than predictive, emphasize people rather than roles, self-adaptive process. So extreme programming, short incremental development cycle, automated tests, two-person programming teams, coding and testing operate together. So advantages: communication between developers, high level of productivity, high quality code. Okay? So class, again, if you're going to do more research about different methodologies, you can find another more methodologies in the internet. Okay, so we have this. If you're going to check, we have the V model. So as I told you before, for the prototyping, we have the throwaway, we have the working prototype, we have the rapid prototyping, we have the modified waterfall model. Okay. We have the traditional CLC, or the classic life cycle. So, class, before you select your methodology, kindly check the advantage and disadvantage of those methods for your research. And aside from that, you have to check if it's applicable for your study. Check if it's applicable. For example, you're going to create a website, okay, an e-commerce website. Check if that methodology is applicable for an e-commerce website. Or if you're going to create your game, okay, you're going to create a game, check if that is applicable for a game, for developing a game, okay? And then aside from that, if you're going to create a complex system, okay, meaning to say you need to have a high risk analysis, Then, what kind of methodologies should you use? Can I use the rapid application development? I don't think so. Why? Because if you need to do the complex analysis, you need more time to do that system. Okay, why? You're going to handle complex data, right? So if you're going to handle complex data, meaning to say, you have to select a methodology that can support your development, okay? Question, class, before I proceed. Any question? Yeah, possible, Carl, possible. If you're going to check, Alay, on my next virtual class, I'm going to show you different sites for creating diagrams. Okay. So again, class, I think we're going to continue our discussion next Monday. Okay. Same time, it's 4:00 p.m. So thank you, class, for your time. I'm going to see you next meeting again. Keep safe, everyone. Thank you.